First, let's discuss the amygdala, otherwise known as the brain's fear center. The amygdala is a key player in a series of interconnected parts of the brain that together make up the limbic system, which governs emotions, memory, motivation, and behavior.
Hi, my name is Arlen Peebles with the Illinois Principals Association, and I'm sitting down with Diana Zaleski from IEA. She's going to be talking to us about her ELN course, Understanding Adverse Childhood Experiences. Thanks for being on the show, Diana.
Thanks for having me.
So first question I've got for you right out of the gate is if you could describe for me ACEs, what it means, and what it is used for.
So ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. Okay, and these are negative, stressful experiences that children may have related to child abuse and neglect. And the reason that educators need to know about adverse childhood experiences is they're pretty prominent in our society. So we're going to have a lot of students in our schools who have experienced ACEs, and ACEs will have a significant impact on their ability to control their behavior and learn. So it's important that teachers are aware of adverse childhood experiences or ACEs and how to help those traumatized students.
How do these children with high ACEs scores and high levels of toxic stress, how does this affect their learning?
So ACEs have a significant effect on a child's brain development. So it really affects the growth of the components of the brain that are responsible for executive functioning. So children really struggle to focus, to pay attention, to regulate their behavior in class, but they also struggle to remember. They have issues with their short-term and long-term memory, which of course is going to result in issues with their learning. So again, it's also, very important that we're aware of the fact that many children are going to struggle with learning because of these negative childhood experiences and these ACEs that they've unfortunately experienced, and they need additional support in the classroom and in the school.
How does toxic stress affect the brain itself?
So the experience of adverse childhood experiences results in something that we call toxic stress. And so these are prolonged stressful experiences without appropriate adult support. So when we experience these prolonged stressful experiences, like maybe living with a parent who has a mental illness or living in a home where there's violence or abuse, and children cannot escape those environments and do not have the positive support that they need to overcome the adversity of those negative environments, it affects the growth of their brain. Okay, so the different stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol have a negative effect on the growth of different parts of the brain. And significantly affect the brain's functioning and eventually really start to shut down the executive functioning process because students are always in that fight or flight mode, unable to stop and make reasoned decisions about their behavior. Imagine you're walking in the woods and see a bear. Immediately, your brain sends a signal to your adrenal glands to release stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart starts beating faster, your pupils dilate, your airways open up, and you are ready to either fight the bear or run from the bear.
What can be done to support children who have experienced trauma in the classroom?
So first, it's really important that all educators in a school are informed about adverse childhood experiences. So we call that being a trauma-informed school. And we want those educators to be able to realize or recognize the indicators that maybe a child has experienced a traumatic childhood experience or an adverse childhood experience. And the most important thing is that we build relationships with those children because they're lacking those positive supportive adult relationships outside of the school. So that's the number one thing we can do. And there's a program called Know Me, Know My Name that's available on the IEA website that really helps identify students that don't have a positive relationship with a caring adult in the school and helps us make sure that we reach out to those students and develop those positive relationships.
This is an opportunity for educators to take a leading role in the prevention of negative health and behavioral outcomes for children who have experienced trauma. A program called Know Me, Know My Name is a no-cost way for educators to identify and make contact with children who may be in need of such a relationship.
What about alternatives to student discipline for these children who've experienced trauma? Anything that can be done there?
Yeah, so it's really important to have a variety of programs that work together. So most of us are familiar with SWPBIS. And that is a program that provides structure and a framework for rules and behavior, but also rewards positive behavior. Then we also have something called restorative practices, and restorative practices are both proactive and reactive strategies for dealing with misbehavior. And so we're trying to hold that student accountable for their misconduct while still building relationships with their students or rebuilding relationships with those students, helping them build relationships with others and other adults to have a healthy community in the school. Then we need to think about culturally responsive classroom management. So thinking about our own biases and our own values and how those may impact our behavior as educators in the classroom around our discipline practices. And we also need to think about a robust social and emotional learning curriculum that then we incorporate as well into our daily instruction.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing this information with us and spending a little time explaining a little bit further about ACEs. If you'd like to experience Diana's full course, go down to the description and click the link there. And again, this has been Diana Zaleski with Understanding Adverse Childhood Experiences. Take care.